Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ben here, and today I just want to make a quick video talking about Jimmy Butler primarily, and just all the rumors and speculation and just news surrounding him and the various things that people have been saying about him during this offseason, what he might do next offseason, whether he will be traded or not. I just want to give my perspective and get into what I think might happen and talk a little bit about some of the rumored places that he might go and things such as that. So to start off with, I will basically just say my position on what I think he will do, and some of the rumors. I don't necessarily think that he'll leave the Timberwolves. I think that a lot of people have been severely overreacting to this whole situation that's been going on. So a little bit of background. Jimmy Butler basically came out and through various sources said a few months ago that he's upset with Andrew Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns and their work ethic and their effort, and he doesn't think that they're trying hard enough on defense, and he's just a bit disappointed with them and how youthful they are and their lack of trying. And because of this, a lot of people think that when his contract is up at the end of next season, he will leave town and go and team up with Kyrie Irving or LeBron James or go somewhere else and try and be a star. What a lot of people are saying is that you might see him in Boston with Kyrie, or you might see him in New York with Porzingis and Kyrie if they both go there, or you might even see him in Los Angeles with LeBron. Those are a few of the rumors going around. But I think that this is a huge overreaction, and I think that when he opted out of his contract, a lot of people thought, like, okay, he's for sure leaving. He's not going to play with the Timberwolves next year. And a lot of people were saying, how did the Timberwolves mess up this whole situation? They had these three really promising players. Jimmy Butler in the heart of his prime. Karl Anthony Towns, probably like one of the best young players in the league. And Andrew Wiggins, a solid guy who can continue to develop and be a really good player for years to come. And how did they mess this up? How are the Wolves going to fail and have to rebuild soon and things like that? And I just think that's a huge leap from where they are now. They were in the playoffs last year. They were a 47-win team. That's a lot better than they had been doing previously. And I think that people aren't really taking into consideration how Jimmy Butler missed such a significant portion of last year. Jimmy Butler was out for 23 games. And he was out for like almost the most important 23 games, I think you'd say. He came back for the last 2 regular season games, but before that he missed the previous 23. Right, like the home stretch, you'd say probably like the most important part of the season, Jimmy Butler was injured for and not playing, which I think is a huge deal considering he was arguably the Wolves' best player last year, the leader of the team, the go-to guy in the clutch, the example for the rest of the players. So it was a really big deal that he was injured. And I think the Wolves struggled a lot, obviously, without him. But I think with him present, the Wolves would have been a lot better. Would have, instead of winning 47 games, would have probably won about 54, in my opinion, or even better than that. But let's just say that they win 3 more games than they won. So they just go from 47-35 to 50-32. They would have been the 3 seed in the West. Now, a lot of people may be surprised by that, but really the West was super tight, and you had the seeds like 3 through 9 were all separated by 3 games. But if the Wolves could have just won 3 more games, they would have been better than the Blazers for the 3 seed, who had 49 wins. The Wolves would have had 50, and they would have been the 3 seed, and instead of facing the Rockets in the first round, could have faced a team more like the Jazz or the Thunder or the Pelicans, which I think would have made a huge difference, or the Trailblazers for that matter. I think that they would have probably won that series with everybody healthy and would have gotten to the second round, and if they played the Rockets, could have challenged them because they did have a lot of close games with them this year, and if they would have played the Warriors, they probably would have struggled, but it's the Warriors, so everyone is going to struggle. But I think it's the whole rumor of Jimmy Butler leaving is a huge overreaction, because by opting out of his contract or by refusing to sign an extension, if he re-signs with the Wolves, he stands to make 5 years, $180 million, where if he would have re-signed now, he would have made 4 years, $110. So clearly, it's better to take the new deal where he'd make $70 million more. So I don't think that it necessarily means he's going to leave the team. I just think it's like smart business-wise to opt out of your contract and potentially re-sign next year as an unrestricted free agent because you can gain so much more money. But yeah, I think that it's a huge overreaction to just say that he's automatically leaving, because like if he would have stayed healthy, they would have easily been the 3 seed. They were the 3 seed for like the whole season up until those last 25 games where Butler was out of the lineup and then coming back for the last 2. So I think that they would have easily been the 3 seed, would have won in the first round, would have got to the second round and challenged whoever they would have been matched up with. But I do think it is a large overreaction to say that they would not have been a playoff, or wouldn't. I think it's a big overreaction to say that because he opted out of this contract, he doesn't want to come back to the Wolves. Like, what if this next season Cat takes another step forward like he has been doing consistently? And like, let's just say hypothetically, what if Wiggins does take a step forward? The Wolves would probably be around like a 55-win team just from those guys improving. If all 3 stay healthy and they don't have any major injury problems, the Wolves would probably be around 55 wins, I think, which would be about the 3 seed, I would guess. And so I think it's a huge overreaction to say that the Wolves are like crumbling apart and they're going to fall apart without Jimmy Butler, because I don't think he's necessarily leaving. And honestly, right now, if I had to bet, I'd say it's like a 50-50 chance he leaves. But I think that's a lot better than a lot of people are giving the Wolves credit for. I think a lot of people are saying like there's essentially no chance he stays. But I think that you can't really say that anymore, because this last year I think we learned a valuable lesson in seeing Paul George and what he did. Everyone said he's for sure going to leave OKC. Without a doubt, he's going to Los Angeles. There's no question about it. He's going to be a Laker next year. And sit back and watch it, and we all saw that he didn't become a Laker. He did not even take a meeting with the Lakers. He went back to the Thunder, signed a really good deal for himself, made a lot of money. He's going to end up making around $40 million a year. And I think that's going to be a thing that will be really hard for Jimmy Butler to leave on the table. If he does want to leave the Timberwolves, he'll be giving up around $40 million in guaranteed money, and that's a lot to leave on the table. If he signs a contract with the Wolves, it could be up for 5 years, so he would be making $40 million when he's 33, whereas if he signs with any other team, he could be making around like 35, 36, but that would only be when he's 32, and so he'd miss out on around $40 million from that last year of having a contract. So you can't overlook that. A guy like Jimmy Butler is a premier player, but he doesn't have a lot of huge endorsements, so money does speak to him, much like a guy like Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. I think that money speaks to them too in making their decision of where they want to sign as a free agent. It obviously did to Paul George because he stayed when everyone said he was going to Los Angeles, but he got locked up with OKC for the 5 years and the big price tag. So I think that could be a similar thing with the Wolves, where just everyone is just assuming he's going to leave, but I could easily see him stay. And, like let's say that he goes to New York, he'll be with Kyrie and Kristaps and himself. That'll be like the core that they're planning to build a championship team around. But let's say him and Kyrie will both want the max, so they're both going to be at $35 million or about. So that'll be $70. Kristaps' rookie deal is expiring after this next year, so then he'll want a max extension for around $30. So that's like almost all of their payroll taken up with 3 max players. So really they're going to have a lot of mediocre role players surrounding those guys. They're going to have to get rid of Enes Kanter and Tim Hardaway and Courtney Lee. So like a lot of decent role players will be gone, and they'll just kind of be filling out the team with scrubs. So I kind of like the interest. It's intriguing to me that there could be another super team with those 3 guys, but like also when you take a step back, you're gonna have to realize that like they would probably be a lot like the Miami Heat with Bosh and Wade and LeBron, the Heat's first year, where they had like those 3 guys, but a lot of other like mediocre role players like Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who should have retired like years ago, was starting for that Heat team and averaging like 8 points a game. And Mike Bibby was like also averaging like 7 points a game starting for that team for like the whole year. And Eddie House was well past his prime playing for them. And Eddie Curry was playing for that Heat team, and just a lot of guys like that who were well past their prime had to fill out the roster for the Heat. I think that would be a similar case with these Knicks. If Jimmy and Kyrie both went there, it'd be like you'd have those 3 guys, but then a lot of like very mediocre guys surrounding them. So yeah, that's just a little bit about my perspective on Jimmy Butler and this whole speculation about him leaving the Timberwolves. I definitely think there's a great chance that he stays. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to leave. Even if you just look at the facts, Jimmy Butler has never directly said to the media he's upset with any player or coach on the Timberwolves. All that's been heard is that sources have said Jimmy Butler's camp has told the Wolves they're upset, which is so vague and indirect that, like, can you really take that to heart? I'm not sure. And also, if Jimmy Butler was really upset, we would have heard around the same time as the Kawhi stuff that Jimmy Butler demands a trade, which he didn't. So I think that based on him being pretty quiet lately, I don't think you can necessarily count on him leaving the Timberwolves, because I think he'd be making a bigger deal about it if he really was gung-ho about leaving. That's all I got for today, guys. I hope you find this video interesting and it gives you a different perspective, sort of like the opposite of all the people saying that he's definitely leaving the Wolves. If this topic interests you and you have something to say, leave a comment. I'd be happy to read it and respond, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.